Welcome to Dyslexia Bytes, because it does. Dyslexia from an intercultural perspective is one of the most important things we can start to understand. I was talking very recently to a young boy, an 11-year-old boy in Australia. Now Australia, I'm generalising, but Australia tends to have very large cities or very small towns. This young boy was in a very small town. And we were talking over Zoom, and he looked at me, and I could see the fear and the sadness in that young boy's eyes. And he said to me, "Is secondary school going to be as bad as primary school?" And the fact is, without understanding dyslexia, yes, it's going to be worse, because the class sizes are bigger, because the requirement to pass tests is going to be more. I was talking to a woman from Nigeria, and she said, yes, the British Dyslexia Association understanding of dyslexia is all very well, but what happens when you get to northeastern Nigeria, where the culture is completely different and the way people interact are completely different, where the education system is completely different, where people are speaking 3 different languages, and where some of the languages are orthographically difficult and some of them are not. What sense does that make of the British Dyslexia Association's understanding of dyslexia? I was talking to a Japanese girl not that long ago, and she said, there's no such thing as dyslexia in Japan. It's looked upon as a mental retardation. And in fact, most people don't even recognize it. And in a culture whose script is very different from the alphabetic script of English, if you only look at dyslexia as a phonological processing difficulty, then you won't recognize dyslexia in Japan until the children are 8, 9, 10 years old, and by that time it's already too late, and they've lost so much of their learning, and they've already fallen behind in so many different subjects. If we don't look at dyslexia from an intercultural perspective, then we're not looking at dyslexia. Dyslexia Bytes takes people's viewpoints, it takes people's perspectives, it takes people's lived experiences, and it uses them to build a library so that if you want to understand how dyslexia affects people in Oman or Qatar, or if you want to understand how it affects LGBT plus asylum seekers who come to Britain, or if you want to understand how it affects, for instance, a young girl who started her education in the Netherlands and moved to England and continued her education there, then this is the place to go. If you want intercultural dyslexia awareness training, Dyslexia Bytes is your go-to place, because if you don't understand dyslexia, you're missing 15% of your students. But if you don't understand the cultural aspects of dyslexia, you can't understand dyslexia. When we say dyslexia is a whole person condition, we mean the culture that that person occupies as well.